Hi, Mr. Richards here. Today's lesson is on dividing polynomials. Our first example has us find the quotient of the quantity 4x squared minus 18x divided by 2x. So let's rewrite this as 4x squared minus 18x divided by 2x. So now we've written it as a rational expression. The next step is going to be to divide each term by 2x. We're going to take our 4x squared and divide it by 2x. We're going to subtract that from 18x divided by 2x. Now, if I divide out common factors, I can divide the 4 and the 2 both by 2, which leaves me with 2 and 1. I can divide the x squared and the x by x, which leaves me with x and 1. I can take the 18 and the 2 and divide both those by 2 to get 9 and 1. And then the x divided by x leaves me just with 1 and 1. So if I reorganize this, I have 2x over 1 minus 9 over 1. Well, that just simplifies into 2x minus 9, which is my final answer. In our next example, we have find the quotient of the quantity 2y squared minus 3y minus 9 divided by 3y. So if we start off by writing this as a rational expression, 2y squared minus 3y minus 9 all over 3y. We'll divide each term now by 3y. So 2y squared divided by 3y minus 3y divided by 3y minus 9 divided by 3y. Now we can look to divide out common factors. The 2 and the 3, there's nothing we can divide out there, but the y squared and the y we can divide by y to leave us with the y and, well, 1. The 3y and the 3y we can just divide by 3y to get 1 and 1. And then the 9 and the 3, if we divide by 3, we're left with 3 and just 1. So now if we reorganize this, we're left with 2y over 3 minus 1 over 1 minus 3 over y. So we can just write this simplified as 2y over 3 minus 1 minus 3 over y. And that is our quotient. Next, in example 2, we're asked to find the quotient here of 2r squared plus 5r minus 3 divided by r plus 3. So again, we'll write this as a rational expression, so 2r squared plus 5r minus 3 all divided by r plus 3. Our next step is going to be to factor the 2r squared plus 5r minus 3. So we're going to be looking for a product of negative 6 that adds up to be 5. And as a refresher here, we have a, b, c, the product of a and c, that adds up to be b. And of course for this we could use 6 times negative 1 is 5. And so using a little bit of factor by grouping here, we would have 2r squared minus 1r plus 6r minus 3. And so if we group here and here, we can factor an r out of the first group, so r times 2r minus 1. And we can factor out a 3 from the first one, so, or second one, plus 3, 2r minus 1, which then leaves us with the r plus 3 times 2r minus 1. A little refresher into factor by grouping. And so let's move that up here. we're going to have r plus 3 times 2r minus 1 all over r plus 3. Well, we can divide this and this out, which just leaves us with 2r minus 1, since those were both 1 after we divided them out. And that's our final answer, 2r minus 1. In example 3, we're going to find the quotient using long division. We're going to put x squared plus 7x minus 15 on the inside divided by x minus 2. Our first step when we do this is to take a look at our x squared and the first term out here, x, and we want to divide those. X squared divided by x. Well, that equals just x. And so that x we're going to put in there, and now we can multiply. X times x is x squared, and then x times the minus 2 is just a minus 2x. Now remember, with division here in this step we do subtract, but I think it's easier to actually add the opposite. So if we change our subtraction into addition and make these the opposites then, negative x squared and a plus 2x, this enables us just to then add. So 7x plus 2x is 9x. And the whole reason why we did this x squared divided by x to be x is so that this can cancel out. X squared plus negative x is just 0x squared, or just 0. Next, we're going to drop down this minus 15. And again, we're going to look. 9x divided by x is what? So 9x divided by x simply equals 9. And so we'll put in a plus 9 here, and we'll look to multiply. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 2 is minus 18. So now we'll look to subtract this, but again, I think adding the opposite might be easier. Instead of dealing with negative 15 minus negative 18, if we just change the subtraction to addition and add the opposites, that way we can go negative 15 plus 18 is 3. And 9x plus negative 9x just is 0x, so that goes away. So we have a remainder of 3. But what's that mean? Well, for our answer, we can write this as x plus 9, but then additionally plus that remainder of 3 over this x minus 2. So my final answer is x plus 9 plus 3 over x minus 2. And that's how we can find the quotient using long division. The area of a rectangle is represented by 3x plus 90. Its length is x minus 3. Find 3x plus 90 divided by x minus 3 to find the width of the rectangle. We're going to long divide once again, so 3x plus 90 divided by x minus 3. And so what we need to do first is look at what 3x divided by x is. So 3x divided by x is equal to 3. And that's what we're going to try to divide by here is 3. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 3 is a negative or minus 9. And we're going to subtract. But instead of subtracting, let's add the opposite. So turn this into addition. The opposite of 3x is negative 3x, and the opposite of minus 9 is plus 9. So 90 plus 9 is 99. And 3x plus negative 3x, that's 0x, so it just kind of goes away. So to write our simplified answer here, we'll have our 3, and then plus that remainder, which is 99 over x minus 3. And that represents the width of the rectangle. In our last example of the lesson, we need to find the quotient once more and use long division. Except this time there's a little bit of a twist. We have x cubed minus 34x plus 45. And then we have divided by x minus 5. What we need to do is insert a missing term here. We have our x cubed. And we have nothing in for that x squared spot. It'd be like having a 0 in the hundreds spot in a regular number. So we need to include that 0 here. We need to have the 0x squared. And then minus 34x plus 45. So we have our cubed, squared, first power, 0 power. And then that's going to be divided by x minus 5. And now we just go through the process of dividing this. We need to look at the x cubed and the x and say, well, x cubed divided by x is equal to x squared. So that's what we're going to put in right here, x squared. Well, x squared times x is x to the third power. X squared times negative 5 is minus 5x squared. And if you didn't see why it was important before, hopefully you see why it's important now, why we added in this 0x squared. So as we bring down this negative 5x squared, we have something to subtract it with. And so, speaking of subtraction, we'll subtract this, and once more, I'm just going to add the opposites. It's easier to visualize, I believe. So we have 0x squared plus 5x squared is 5x squared. And then x cubed plus negative x cubed just kind of cancels out. Bring down this minus 34x, and we can continue on to our next step, which is to look at our 5x squared and divide it by the x. So 5x squared divided by x is equal to 5x. And that's what we're going to put in here, plus 5x. So 5x times x is 5x squared. And 5x times negative 5 is negative 25x. We are going to be subtracting these. But if we were to add the opposites, we're left with negative 34x plus 25x, which is negative 9x. And the 5x squared plus negative 5x squared cancels out. Bring down this 45, so plus 45. And we can continue on to our next step. We're going to compare the negative 9x with this x, so negative 9x divided by x is going to be negative 9. So we'll put in a minus 9 here. So that negative 9 times x is negative 9x. And negative 9 times negative 5 is a plus 45. Something kind of cool happens here, because as we go to subtract, we'll add the opposites so that 45 plus a negative 45 is 0, and negative 9x plus 9x is 0. So we actually don't have a remainder here. Our final answer is x squared plus 5x minus 9. And that is it for this lesson on dividing polynomials. Good luck.